Hello everybody, Gashbad here. Summer. It is a hard time for doing these videos. I'm working on some bigger projects that are taking some time to get off the ground, but for right now I was able to play a game, and that is a game of Ghostbusters the board game. Ghostbusters the board game is a miniature board game by Cryptozoic Entertainment, and I am going through the campaigns in the box with my 3 kids. We already played through the first campaign, the Slimer situation. We're on to campaign number 2, the Idulnas Incursion. I'm not super familiar with Idulnas. I think he's a character from the comics, the 3rd minion of Gozer, but it doesn't matter. He's causing problems in our town. We're going to track him down and put him in a ghost trap. So as you would expect, we're starting with scenario 1 in the second campaign. This is the board all set up and ready to play. We're starting in the middle left, all in the Ecto 1. As before, we are using the classic 4 Ghostbusters. My youngest 2 are sticking with the same characters. My son is going with Egon Spengler, my youngest daughter is going with Dr. Ray Stans. My oldest wanted to switch characters though, so she's using Dr. Pete Venkman in this game, and I'm using Winston Zedmore. That is fine by me. I was not impressed with Venkman's game mechanics. The goal in this scenario is to close all the open gates to the spirit world, and you can see them off to the right. They're in a park area protected by a fence. The entrance to the park is guarded by a gruesome twosome. We've got 2 closed gates with a couple of galloping ghouls surrounding them off to the left. And for a starting scenario, we've got a pretty small spirit world. Just 2 galloping ghouls, 2 gruesome twosomes, and 2 boogaloo manifestations. Not a lot of leeway in this game. The big difference in this scenario is that we've got what we call flank gates. So the 3 open gates on the right, they're the same in that you need a 4+ to put a capture stream on them, 2 capture streams to close them, but if you miss, instead of a ghost spawning from the spirit world next to the gate, it pops out of the Ghostbusters that missed the gate. So ghosts will tend to appear right next to you. In addition, at the end of the round when we roll the chaos die, if we roll an open gate, a ghost pops out of the open gate as usual. If we roll a closed gate, then every Ghostbuster within line of sight of a closed gate has a ghost emerge from them. So we have to be really careful about leaving Ghostbusters in line of sight of a closed gate, especially towards the end of the game when it's going to be a lot more likely that you roll a closed gate symbol. I mean, if all the Ghostbusters are within line of sight of a closed gate and that symbol pops up, well then 4 ghosts are going to emerge from the spirit world, and that can end the game real quick. Because as always, the game is over when a ghost is required to emerge from the spirit world and there's no ghost there. So that's everything about this scenario. It's not too complex. We roll a die to see who goes first, and my youngest gets it, so Egon Spengler is going to get the first turn of the game. We're all starting back at level 1 with 0 experience. Egon's going to hop out of the Ecto 1 with his maneuver action. He's then going to take a shot at the southern galloping ghoul that he can see. He's popped out in a spot where he can see 2 ghosts, so he's going to take a shot at the southern one, needs a 3+ to hit. He captures it, which is great, gets himself an XP. Then he takes a shot at the northernmost one. That one he misses, and it runs off to the northwest, right on top of that closed gate up there. Ray Stans is up next. Ray Stans gets out of the Ecto 1 for his maneuver. We're going to try and capture a couple of these ghosts. We're going to try and repopulate the spirit world before we really try to close down these flank gates. Ray moves up to the north, takes a shot at the ghost that Egon missed, and manages to capture it. Pete Venkman is up next. This is controlled by my oldest daughter. She tends to be more goal-focused, so Venkman's going to drive the Ecto 1 further over to the east. He's going to get out, and he's going to try and clear that entryway to the park. Takes a shot at the gruesome twosome over there, but misses. It stumbles around a little bit and ends up just a touch closer to the Ecto 1 and Pete. Finally, it's my turn. Winston Zedmore gets out of the Ecto 1. Yeah, I'd like to clear the way. Yeah, I'd like to capture more ghosts, so I'm going to take some shots at this gruesome twosome as well. I miss with the first shot, and again, it bounces around a little bit, but I hit with the second. So that's 1 capture stream on the gruesome twosome. They require 2. So all 4 Ghostbusters have taken their turn. It's time to roll the chaos die, and we roll an open gate, which is just fine. We get the circle gate to the far east, so a galloping ghoul emerges from the spirit world next to that gate. Egon Spengler is up next. This is controlled by my son. He is pretty much the opposite of my oldest daughter. He really likes capturing ghosts and could care less about the mission objectives. He's going to chase down that remaining galloping ghoul to the south. He's going to take his first action to move and his second action to take a shot. Unfortunately, he misses again. When missed, the galloping ghouls run 2 squares in a random direction. This brings that galloping ghoul straight off the table. Not great, Egon. Ray's up next. Ray does a little better, captures the remaining galloping ghoul in the north, and then moves to rejoin the team. Venkman is up next, and he does a pretty good job. Puts a capture stream on that gruesome twosome. That's 2 capture streams on it, so we capture it. Goes into Pete's ghost trap. Venkman gets an XP. Winston gets an XP. Venkman could deposit the ghost in the spirit world right away, but I talk my daughter out of it. Winston would like to collect a bunch of ghosts so that he can get the bonus XP for depositing 3 levels of ghosts at once. So having cleared out that left-hand side of the board, Venkman just gets in the car, and we're going to gather up the team and we're going to drive over to those open gates. So in accordance with the plan, my turn is up. Winston uses his move action to hop into the car, and then his maneuver to go and take that gruesome twosome from Venkman. Then I use my remaining action to just drive over next to Ray. Another turn is over, so we roll the chaos die, and this time we get the chaos symbol. Normally that's a big problem because it means that all the ghosts within line of sight of the Ghostbusters behave as if they were missed by a proton stream, so you tend to get a lot of ghosts acting really crazy. Fortunately, in this circumstance, there are no ghosts within line of sight of any of our Ghostbusters, so nothing happens. Perfect. Back to the boys in gray, and Egon gets in the Ecto-1, uses his move action to do that, and then uses his maneuver to hand his captured galloping ghoul to Winston as well. So now I've got 3 levels of ghosts. That's good news. For Ray's turn, Ray uses his maneuver to hop in the Ecto-1. That's all of us in the car now. Fantastic. And then his 2 actions to take 2 drive actions get us all the way to the top right. Venkman's up next, and of course Pete's going to go for the thing that'll complete the job and get him money. So he gets out of the car and takes a shot at the open gate in the top right. Misses with the shot, and so a ghost is going to spawn from Pete. Now this could be bad because if it goes through the Ecto-1, then we all get slimed. But as it turns out, it actually just pops right off the table, which isn't great either. Now we can't recapture it and put it back in the spirit world, but oh well. Anyway, Venkman still has a second action, takes another shot at the gate, and this time hits it, putting a capture stream on it. And then to end the turn, Winston Zedmore gets out of the Ecto-1 and immediately goes and uses his first action to deposit his gruesome twosome and galloping ghoul into the spirit world, getting himself an XP. He then takes a shot at that upper right gate, hoping to close it, which he fails to do, and a galloping ghoul emerges to the south of him. A little disappointing, but maybe not so bad all things considered, because it's now time for the chaos die and we roll a closed gate. If Winston had actually closed that gate, it would have been closed, and so all 4 Ghostbusters would have been in view of it, and we would have had 4 ghosts emerge from the spirit world and just absolutely surround us. So in the event, it actually turns out that none of us are in line of sight of a closed gate, so nothing happens. Incompetence has its privileges. So back to the top of the order, and Egon Spengler gets out of the Ecto-1. He takes a shot at that gate right in front of us. He misses, so a gruesome twosome now has to emerge from the spirit world, and he emerges to the upper left of Egon. Unperturbed, Egon takes a second shot at the gate, and this time closes it. All right, now we have to get away from that thing. We have to get as many of our Ghostbusters out of line of sight of that as we can before that chaos die symbol rolls another closed gate. Ray's in the best position to do that. He's still in the car, so he takes 2 drive actions, ends up in the south between the 2 remaining open gates. Venkman tries to get away, but there's a bunch of stuff blocking his route, including those green glowing cracks in the ground that he can't cross over, and the 2 galloping ghouls, so he has to move around to the right and can't quite get out of line of sight to that gate. Winston Zedmore has much the same problem. He's going to take a single move action to end up right on top of that closed gate, and take a shot at the furthest galloping ghoul. Try and clear the way for Egon. I'd shoot at the closest one, but if I hit it, then I'm going to slime Egon, and I don't really want to do that. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I missed the galloping ghoul and it runs off to the upper left right next to Egon. The chaos die ends up with a plus symbol, so that central gate on the right spawns a new ghost from the spirit world. We've got a gruesome twosome coming out, and it appears on the other side of the fence, so there's not a whole lot we can do about that guy. So back to the Ghostbusters, and we've been doing okay. We haven't been hitting real well, we've been missing a lot. On the other hand, the chaos die has been pretty nice to us. Nonetheless, we're getting a little low with Ghost in the Spirit World. There's only a single gruesome twosome and 2 boogaloo manifestations there. Really would rather not deal with the boogaloo manifestations. Anyway, Egon is up. He's going to spend his first action to move away a little bit from the galloping ghoul that's right next to him. Doesn't want to get slimed when he captures him. Again, not a problem he really has. He takes a shot and again misses the 3+ to hit, and the galloping ghoul just runs south onto that plus open gate. Ray's turn. He gets out of the car, takes a shot at that same ghost, again misses. It runs off to the left through that fence again. He then uses his second action to take a shot at the galloping ghoul next to the circle gate, misses that again. We have missed 4 3+ to hit rolls in a row. The Ghostbusters absolutely need to spend some more time at the target range. Anyway, that galloping ghoul runs to the other side of the circle gate, and we're back to Pete. Pete takes a single move action, which at least gets him out of line of sight of that closed gate in the upper right, and then takes a shot at that plus gate, and of course misses. We spawn our last gruesome twosome on the other side of the gate again. Winston's next. He takes 2 move actions to get away from that closed gate, and then takes the 2 galloping ghouls from Ray. I really want Winston to start repopulating that spirit world. Chaos Die comes around and we roll the circle gate, so a Boogaloo manifestation emerges to the lower right of that. That means there is 1 whole ghost left in the spirit world. Not great. Egon's up, he takes a shot at one of the remaining galloping ghouls near him, and he manages to capture it. That's nice. But he is absolutely focused on hunting down these ghosts. His remaining action is to just move off to the bottom left and try and hunt down that galloping ghoul hiding in the corner of the park. For this next one, I forgot to take a picture, but what Ray does is he moves to the south towards the circle gate, and then he goes and shoots at that galloping ghoul that's been avoiding his proton streams, and this time he captures it, which is very important. At this stage, we are too afraid to take shots at the gates, because if we miss, then a ghost emerges from the spirit world, and then we're in a lot of trouble. Because if another ghost emerges for whatever reason, then we're going to lose. But with Ray capturing that ghost, we now have a little bit of leeway, and I'll explain that in a moment. First, we have Pete Venkman. Pete Venkman is going to shoot at that plus gate. 4+ to hit. Again, he misses, and we have a Boogaloo manifestation, the last ghost in the spirit world, emerge from the gate to the northwest, and it pops through the gruesome twosome and ends up all the way over there. Now, he should have actually emerged from Pete, but we forgot about that rule. It's not actually going to make any difference. This rules mistake wouldn't affect anything else that happens in the rest of the game. But still, oops. Anyway, Pete has 1 whole action that he can do something with, but we don't dare, because if he tries something like shooting at the gate and he fails, then we instantly lose the game, because the spirit world is empty. But that's okay, we've got Winston Zedmore. Winston moves to the south, gets adjacent to Ray. For his maneuver, he takes Ray's 1 remaining galloping ghoul. That means that Winston has 3 ghosts in his possession, uses his final action to deposit those in the Ecto-1. Cool, now we have a little bit of a safety zone. Not a lot, but a little. Chaos Die time, and again we roll an open gate. Not really that big a deal. No matter what, we had it arranged so that only 1 ghost would emerge from the spirit world. In this case, it emerges to the top left of the circle gate. Give Ray something to think about. So back to the Ghostbusters, and we start off with Egon Spengler. Egon Spengler kind of abandons his chase of these ghosts. It's looking a little bit hairy, so now he has to focus on closing these gates. Takes a shot at the plus gate in the center right and hits it. Takes his second shot at that same gate and hits it again and closes it all by himself. Nicely done, Egon. Gets himself 2 XP, goes up to level 2. This is going to be kind of important because it's been kind of a low XP game so far. It's going to make all the following scenarios more difficult if we are remaining at low levels. So now we're over to Ray. Ray's right in front of that circle gate at the last one remaining. Goes and takes a shot at it, and there is some risk involved with this. If he goes and misses, then that's going to put the spirit world down to 1 ghost again, and if the Chaos Die comes up and it gets a closed gate, there's a bunch of Ghostbusters in line of sight of closed gates anymore. We're probably going to lose. He hits with his first shot, and now the pressure's really on. Between him and Winston, we've only got 3 actions left. If he takes another shot at that gate, he can close it and we immediately win. If he misses, we might be in a lot of trouble. Takes a chance, takes a shot. Ray is the hero of the hour, closes the final gate, gets himself 2 XP, gets himself to level 2. The Ghostbusters win. So some real cold dice trying to capture ghosts, but give us a stationary target and we do pretty well. Those were 4 hits in a row needing 4 pluses. Nice job, Egon and Ray. I think these scenarios might be a little bit more difficult in Campaign 2. We were floating real close to having an empty spirit world a couple times in that game. We didn't get a lot of XP, didn't capture a lot of ghosts. On the other hand, none of us actually got slimed in the whole game. Kind of amazing, really. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, observations, or concerns. I need to paint up a couple more galloping ghouls, and then we'll come back to the game with Scenario 2. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.